Alright guys, so today we're going to be looking real briefly at the Czech Cz-52 pistol, or VZ-52, adopted by the Army of Czechoslovakia, which is now the Czech Republic. They adopted this in 1952 during the Cold War. A lot of times they'll come with these leather holsters. Of course, it's got a spare mag, cleaning rod. Pretty standard stuff for a military surplus holster. Pistol itself, as you can see, is rather unusual looking. It's got a decocker that you should not use, from what I understand, because it may set off a round in the chamber if the mechanism's worn. But you've got down for fire, up for safe, and then push on up to decock. Single stack 8-round magazine. This gun is chambered in the 7.62 by 25 Tokarev round, 30 caliber round. It's neck down from a larger case to 30 caliber. Very fast moving bullet. The grips are held on by this little metal clip that you can just pry off and the grips will come off. They move around a lot on this one. They're not very solid. But the real interesting thing about this pistol is its operation, its mechanism. So to take it apart, you got these two things, kind of like a Glock, that you pull down. I'll go ahead and cock the hammer. You don't really have to, but I do. Pull those down. Your slide will come right off. Now you can see we got something going on in here that's not quite like a normal Browning tilting barrel. Use your magazine floor plate. Hook it into this notch right here. And then with the strength of Hercules, sometimes you can pull this thing forward and lift it out. Got a big recoil spring here. The way this is actually working though, it's like roller locked. As you can see, this piece right here, when it's in this position, these rollers lock the barrel into the slide right there. As it recoils, this piece moves and allows the rollers to move out of the way so that the slide can move independently from the barrel. Then when it returns to battery, your rollers are locked out. So it's a pretty interesting gun. They kind of have this gray finish. Pretty standard sights. Putting it back together is also pretty difficult. What you do, take your barrel, put your recoil spring back on, get it started, and then of course these rollers have to be in this position to go back into the slide. So what you're supposed to do, which is not very easy, hook your magazine back on there. And what I like to do is kind of go ahead and get it started. The barrel might need help starting at this end through the slide. But once you kind of get it started, then you can put your magazine in here. And then very carefully you can kind of get that started. And you still got to kind of mess with it some, and sometimes you might end up getting it jammed up in there like that. Kind of just part of it, but eventually you'll be able to release it back to where it goes. And then from there, of course, pretty easy actually from there. Just kind of set the slide back on right about here. Kind of pinch it down so you're pushing these things down. Then just pull it back till it locks. But it feels okay in the hand. I mean, it's an interesting gun for sure. It's just kind of unusual and somewhat difficult to take apart. Just requires a lot of force. But like I said, these magazines do hold 8 rounds, and if you get the full holster and everything, you should get 2 magazines with it. I don't think anyone's importing these right now. It's been a while since they've been imported from what I understand, and they're a little bit pricey compared to what they were when they were being imported, of course, like all military surplus. But overall, it's just a pretty cool pistol. Pretty smooth shooter too. That roller lock really gives it an interesting recoil impulse. So we'll go outside and take a couple shots with it, see what we can do, but just wanted to show it right now before we shoot it, kind of go over, you know, just a brief amount of history. Oh, the other thing I meant to say, from what I understand, these were designed by CZ to be a double action 9mm Luger pistol, 9mm Parabellum, and they were double single action, and the Soviet Union kind of pressured the Czechs into chambering this in the 7.62 by 25 Tokarev, and it's such a long case that with the magazine up inside the grip, somehow there wasn't room for the double action mechanism, so they retained the decocker, but they are single action only. Another thing about these is that, from what I understand, they are not dry fire safe. They can have brittle firing pins sometimes. So it's best to not dry fire them, and it's best to not rely on this decocker if you've got a round in the chamber, just in case. So we'll head outside and shoot a couple rounds through it and see what it can do. Alright, so we've got 8 rounds of 7.62 by 25. We're going to take a couple shots with the Cz-52. See if it'll ring that plate down there. Well, I don't know where I'm going. There we go. Got another mag. Try to take my time a little bit with this one. There we go. Well. Pretty smooth shooter. I wasn't hitting much with it, but you can tell it's a hot round for sure. Alright, we're going to try one more mag on the steel plate down there. See if we can't do a little better with the Cz-52. Safety. Did you see that flinch? That was bad. Probably why I'm not hitting anything. Shooting a little, oh, I thought I counted right. Didn't hold open. Shot a little better that time though. We'll let the cameraman give it a go, see if he can hit anything with it.
safety. Hold on, stop.
It's not cocked.
Does this not